Alex Jones is with us. He's an Austin-based producer, director, writer, and documentary filmmaker, as well as host of The Alex Jones Show, which appears on both syndicated and internet radio. He is also the founder of InfoWars, the multimedia enterprise. He has been banned by many prominent social media outlets for a range of alleged violations, although his Twitter account was recently restored. Welcome to the show, Alex Jones.
Wow, Jimmy, I've been a big fan of you for a long time, and you're one of the only men whose spit I've had in my mouth. So I just want to say that I've also had Willie Nelson spit in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
But my mouth was open when you spit at me like a spitting cobra and went right in my mouth. So
Christ.
You and Willie Nelson have both been in my mouth.
No, I stand by.
Put that on your headstone?
I put that on my headstone, but I stand by that you were being funny because you were being funny. You said to Cenk Uygur, "I'm trying to be nice," and that was funny to me. And let's just show it. Here, I'll show it. What happened? Here it is.
Oh, no, Cenk, relax.
Hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia, you dumbass. We talk about that all the time.
Oh, really?
We talk about that all the time.
Get up,
You don't know shit. What do you think? The lizard people are in charge? No. Is that what you think?
Hey, you're pissed. We're kicking your ass.
Is that what you think?
You're the anti-liberal and you're pissed.
Bullshit.
We're being nice here.
You know what I care about? I care about the American people.
Good. You're the one flipping out. Anybody hurt? I'm being nice. I'm not right.
Everybody get the fuck off my stage. Get the fuck off my stage.
Okay, so there was the iced tea incident, and the ironic thing is that I thought this was going to blow up into a huge fist fight, because Cenk Uygur was out of his mind, and you had baited him correctly and professionally, and you got exactly. I couldn't believe he was handling it that way.
He's a brawler,
and he likes
Cenk's a brawler.
He likes to say he's a brawler. But it did diffuse almost immediately after that. Like everybody kind of walked away from that. But
well, if you watch the full clip, I mean, it was one of the most viral things I ever did, and people thought I snuck on your stage like at your offices. No, it was at the RNC 2016 in Cleveland, and it was a huge parking garage that they'd sealed up with big air conditioners in July, and so we were all milling around. I walked by, said hi to them. I've been on the show a few times. They said, yeah, maybe we'll have you on later. And I came back by and they were on break. So I went up there and gave him a Bill Clinton's a rapist t-shirt. And he just completely blew up when he saw Roger Stone walking by and said, Roger, you're not going to crash my show. And so then I thought it was all a joke. And then he got madder and madder and madder and madder. And then he went on air basically and said, we're here in our studio. And he got into the building and basically acted like I had like a James Bond snuck in. Instead, it was out in the middle with other shows 15 feet away, booths everywhere. You guys had a big stage. So that's the truth of that story, and it was a lot of fun.
So, no, you obviously you didn't sneak into the building because there was security letting everyone in. You had to go through security to get in, and of course you couldn't sneak in with a camera crew. And we had seen you. I'd seen you walking back and forth earlier that day, and so we knew you were there. I didn't know that somebody had invited you onto that stage. I know you had been on Cenk's show before. He had interviewed you at least a couple of times that I saw. So I didn't know that was going to happen. And
let me be clear, because I don't want to be deceptive. You guys had one of the main stages. There was only like 2 or 3 in the whole building. Everybody else had little booths.
Right.
Hundreds of broadcasters. I walked by and I said, hey, you want me on? They said, yeah, come back later. And so he wasn't like, get on the stage. They're like, yeah, come back later. I was like, sure. I went and did like 30 minutes of more interviews, was walking back by. He's like, we'll be right back. I thought, hey, jumped up to troll him a little with the t-shirt. So it is true that I did jump up on the stage. I wasn't invited, but I knew him. It was during a break. It was in the middle of the crowd. So half of it's true, half of it's not what he said, but I certainly didn't, cat burglar into the studio.
Okay.
Very pro wrestling.
Okay. But,
yeah.
And the crazy thing to me was that I went to play Austin, Texas. My first time I was playing Austin, and I was eating at that steakhouse across from the Westin. And swear to God, you came in and you were seated right behind me. And I was like, oh my God, Alex Jones is going to kill me. because you could. You're much bigger than me and you could crush me. But
hey, I thought it was funny. Listen, I love your comedy. I love your show. You're going to get in trouble for this, but I'm a big fan. So's my wife. we watch almost every episode
Oh, that's
of
very
you,
sweet.
which is a lot. And so, no, I think you're one of the best political brains out there, and you're fair. You're exposing the whole political system as rotten, controlled by big corporations like BlackRock, who are now starting World War III. And you've really, the whole time, stood up for my free speech. And I appreciate that. You got it a little wrong what happened with the whole school shooting thing and what I really said and what I didn't say. So I don't want to even say the name of it, but if that comes up, I can tell you what really happened there. That was all PR firms taking one thing out of context, blowing it up years later as a way to try to take me off the air. By the way, the Willie Nelson story is true, too.
Well, tell me about that.
Okay. I used to know Willie really well. I used to go to his house and play chess with him outside Austin, and because he was real anti-war, and he hated George Bush, and he saw my movies about the war, and so he came to one of my movie showings one time, and so for about 2 years, I hung out with him probably 10, 15 times. And a few years, about 10 years ago, I went to dinner with him once, but he's kind of, even then his brain was not 100% what he used to be. But I knew him when he was 74, 75. He even invited me out to Maui and stuff. I never went. But the point was, we got to be decent friends. And I'd go out to his house and hang out at Luck with him, and I'd smoke a lot of pot with him. I'm not a big pot guy, but he smoked pot with Willie. And he has those vaporizer volcanoes back before most people heard of them. This is like, in like 2007 and 8 and stuff. And we would smoke pot till I couldn't walk and playing chess. And he would just he would suck on it and keep saying, want more, and he would just keep going. I mean, when he says, roll me up and smoke me. But the point was, when Willie Nelson hands you that thing, it's dripping with spit. And I'm like, I'm not going to wipe this off. It's kind of cool. I'm not gay, but I was like, it's Willie Nelson. So it's just funny. I always make that joke to family and stuff that I had Willie Nelson spit in my mouth. And I was telling a story just the other day to family and some friends, and I go, wait a minute, Jimmy Dore spit into my mouth. Because if you watch the video, I'm like, oh, no, yeah, and all of a sudden he goes, and I remember I was like, is that iced tea or Coke? I got so much of it in my mouth. It's just a funny story.
It was actually called Honest Tea. That's the irony there. Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, and we're going to Europe. Do you live in Europe? We're going to be there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.